Hello everyone, and welcome back to Cowboys and Cattle. In our last episode, Lou and Amy continued their emotional phone call after months of painful separation. Amy begged Lou to come home, sharing everything she'd sensed about Nathan Lindy's revelation about his mask. The pattern of everyone questioning Nathan ending up discredited, his controlling behavior. Lou validated Amy's fears, said that Nathan might be dangerous, and promised to return to Hudson in a few days. But after the call ended, Lou was left tormented by an impossible choice: stay in Montana to complete the FBI mission that will stop Nathan permanently, or return to Hudson immediately to physically protect Amy and Lindy. The episode ended with Lou lying alone in the safe house bedroom, paralyzed by indecision, carrying the crushing weight of secrets she couldn't share with her sister. If you've been heartbroken following this impossible situation, please hit that like button and subscribe. Today's episode shows Lou making a decision that goes against all FBI protocols, all safety recommendations, all logical thinking. After days of torment, Lou realizes she cannot leave Montana without seeing Ty one more time, without talking to him directly, testing for any hint of recognition, any crack in the memory erasure that Nathan inflicted. It's dangerous. It's risky. It violates operational security. But Lou doesn't care anymore. She needs to see her brother-in-law, needs to look into his eyes and know if Ty Borden is truly gone, or if some part of him remains buried beneath Noah Smith's identity. This is episode 51. And Lou Fleming is about to have the most heartbreaking conversation of her life. Elk Ridge Safe House. Lou lay in bed staring at the ceiling for the fourth night in a row, unable to sleep, her mind cycling through the same impossible thoughts. She'd promised Amy she'd come home in a few days. That promise was now 3 days old, and Lou was no closer to keeping it. She was still in Montana, still trapped in the safe house, still waiting for intelligence that never came about whether her cover was blown. But that wasn't what kept her awake tonight. Tonight, like the previous 3 nights, Lou was thinking about Ty, about seeing him at Silver Creek Ranch, watching him work with horses, hearing him introduce himself as Noah Smith from Oregon who'd only been training horses for a few months. The image haunted her. Ty Borden. Kind, gentle Ty, who'd loved Amy with his whole heart, who'd been an incredible father to Lindy, who'd belonged at Heartland, reduced to a stranger with no memory of his real life. Lou kept thinking about Amy's voice on the phone, the fear, the vulnerability, the desperate need for her sister. Amy had no idea Ty was alive, had no idea her dead husband was working at a criminal facility in Montana, with no memory of her or their daughter. And Lou couldn't tell her, couldn't drop that devastating truth on Amy over the phone, couldn't explain it without revealing the FBI investigation, the council operations, everything that needed to remain secret for operational security. But there was something Lou could do, something she'd been thinking about obsessively for 3 days. She could go back to Silver Creek Ranch, could talk to Ty directly, could test whether the memory erasure was complete, or if some part of Ty remained buried beneath the Noah Smith identity. It was dangerous. Nathan was at the ranch. Lou's cover might be compromised. The FBI would never approve it. But Lou didn't care anymore. She needed to see Ty, needed to talk to him, needed to know if Amy's husband was truly gone or if there was any hope of bringing him back. At 2 a.m., Lou gave up on sleep and went to the kitchen. Agent Walsh was on night watch, reviewing surveillance reports on his laptop. He looked up as Lou entered, taking in her exhausted appearance with concern. Another sleepless night?
I can't stop thinking about him, about Ty, about the fact that he's at that ranch with no memory of who he is.
I know it's difficult, but Lou, we're working on a plan to extract him safely. Once we're ready to move against the council,
I need to see him again. I need to talk to him.
Agent Walsh's expression shifted from concern to alarm. Lou, we've been over this. It's too dangerous to return to Silver Creek Ranch. Nathan is there. Your cover could be compromised. If he recognizes you,
I don't care. I can't just sit around without trying. Without seeing if there's any recognition, any memory, anything that suggests Ty Borden is still in there somewhere.
that's not how memory erasure works. If the council used sophisticated psychological conditioning, there won't be sudden flashes of recognition just because you talk to him again.
Maybe not, but I have to try. I have to know for certain that he's gone before I tell Amy the truth. Before I destroy her world by revealing her dead husband is alive with no memory of her.
Agent Walsh was quiet for a moment, clearly weighing the risks against Lou's desperate need. Even if I agreed, which I don't, Agent Morrison would never approve this. Not with Nathan at the ranch. Not when we don't know if your cover is intact.
Then don't tell Agent Morrison. This stays between us. You, me, and Agent Chen.
You're asking me to violate protocol, to let a civilian asset return to a hostile location without authorization.
I'm asking you to understand that this is personal, that Ty Borden is my family, that I can't walk away without trying everything possible to reach him.
They stared at each other across the kitchen table. Agent Walsh's face showed the internal conflict. Duty versus compassion, protocol versus humanity. Finally, he sighed. If we do this, and that's a huge if, it would have to be carefully controlled. You approach the ranch's public areas only. The outer corrals where ranch hands work, not the main buildings where Hayes and Nathan would be. Brief encounter with Ty. Get close enough to talk, then leave immediately. And Lou, the moment anything feels wrong, the moment you sense danger, you abort and get out of there. Understood? Lou felt tears forming from relief and gratitude.
Understood. Thank you.
Don't thank me yet. Let me talk to Agent Chen. If she's not comfortable with this, it doesn't happen. Elkridge Safe House. Agent Chen sat at the kitchen table with Lou and Agent Walsh, her expression showing she couldn't believe they were seriously considering this plan. You want to go back to Silver Creek Ranch, where Nathan Price is currently staying, where your cover as Louise Parker may or may not be compromised, to have a conversation with Ty Borden that will accomplish nothing because his memory is erased.
I know how it sounds, but I have to do this. I can't leave Montana knowing Ty is there without trying to reach him one more time.
Lou, I understand this is personal. I understand Ty is family. But you're asking us to violate every safety protocol, to go behind Agent Morrison's back, to put you in potential danger for what is essentially a personal need rather than operational necessity.
You're right, it's personal. It's not about the investigation or the mission or gathering intelligence. It's about me needing to look my brother-in-law in the eyes and know for certain that he's gone before I have to tell my sister her dead husband is alive.
Agent Chen was quiet, clearly struggling with the decision. If we do this, and I'm not saying we are, well, the protocol Agent Walsh outlined, public areas only. Brief conversation. First sign of trouble, you abort immediately. And Lou, if Nathan sees you, if anything suggests your cover is blown, we extract you instantly, and the mission is over. Understood?
I understand. I'll be careful. I promise.
We'll monitor remotely. You'll be wired, and we'll have surveillance positioned where we can see the outer corrals. We can't be close enough to intervene immediately if something goes wrong, but we'll know what's happening. And this stays between the three of us. We don't inform Agent Morrison. Because if headquarters finds out we let a civilian asset return to a hostile location without authorization, we'll all be in serious trouble.
I won't tell anyone. This is on me.
Agent Chen and Agent Walsh exchanged glances, both clearly uncomfortable with what they were agreeing to, but understanding why Lou needed this. Okay, we do this tomorrow. Early morning, when the ranch hands are working in the outer corrals, but before the main office staff arrives, that gives us the best chance of you encountering Ty without running into Hayes or Nathan. Lord felt overwhelming gratitude mixed with terror. She was going back to Silver Creek Ranch. Going to see Ty again. Going to test whether any part of him remembered his real life. Silver Creek Ranch Outer Corrals. Lou drove toward Silver Creek Ranch with her hands shaking on the steering wheel. Agent Walsh and Agent Chen were monitoring remotely from a position a mile away, watching through surveillance equipment and listening through Lou's concealed wire. The early morning sun cast long shadows across the Montana landscape. Lou could see the ranch buildings in the distance, could see figures moving around the outer corrals where the ranch hands worked. Her heart pounded so hard she could feel it in her throat. This was Amy's husband. Lindy's father. Family. Lou, you're approaching the ranch perimeter. Remember, outer corrals only. Brief conversation with Ty if you can locate him. First sign of trouble, abort immediately.
Understood.
She parked her rental vehicle near the public access area where visitors might park if they were touring the ranch or watching the horse training. From here, she could see the outer corrals clearly. Several ranch hands were working with horses, exercising them, grooming them, conducting training sessions. Lou scanned the figures, looking for Ty. For a moment, she didn't see him, and panic set in. What if he wasn't working today? What if he was in one of the main buildings? What if she'd risked everything to come here and couldn't even find him? Then she saw him. Ted Borden Noah Smith, working with a beautiful bay mare in the farthest corral. Even from a distance, Lou recognized his movements, his posture, the careful way he handled the horse. Lou got out of her vehicle and walked slowly toward the corrals, trying to appear casual. Just Louise Parker, the businesswoman who'd toured the ranch a week ago, stopping by to observe the training operations again. As she got closer, she could see Ty more clearly. He was working the mare through groundwork exercises, his movements patient and skilled. The horse responded to him beautifully, trusting and calm. Lou stopped at the corral fence about 20 feet from where Ty worked. He glanced up at the movement, saw her, and smiled politely, the way you'd smile at any visitor to the ranch. No recognition, nothing in his eyes that suggested he knew who she was.
Morning, here to watch the training?
His voice, Amy's dead husband's voice, speaking casually like this was any normal day. Lou forced herself to smile back, to act like Louise Parker rather than Lou Fleming, who was falling apart inside.
Good morning. Yes, I toured the ranch last week with Mr. Hayes. I was so impressed with the training operations that I thought I'd come back and observe more closely if that's all right.
Of course, always happy to have people interested in what we do. This is Bella, 3-year-old mare we're preparing for sale. She's coming along beautifully.
He returned his attention to the horse, working her through a series of exercises. Lou watched, tears threatening to form as she saw the natural skill, the intuitive understanding of horse behavior that had always defined Tay. He was right there, 10 feet away. Amy's husband, and he had no idea who Lou was.
You're very good with her. How long have you been training horses?
Professionally, just a few months. I'm pretty new to ranch work, but it turns out I have a knack for it.
Every word was a knife to Lou's heart. A few months. Ty Borden, who'd been working with horses his entire adult life, thought he'd only been doing it for a few months.
Where did you work before this?
Odd jobs, mostly. Moved around a lot. Ended up here and found out I was good with horses. Lucky break, really.
Lou's FBI training kicked in, helping her maintain composure even as her heart shattered. She needed to test his memory, carefully probe without being obvious.
You're not from Montana originally, are you? Your accent sounds, maybe Canadian?
Ty looked up, slightly surprised.
Canadian? No, I'm from Oregon. Portland area, though I guess I've moved around enough that my accent might be all over the place.
Oregon. He believed he was from Oregon, had no memory of being Canadian, of living in Hudson, of Heartland.
Oregon's beautiful. What brought you to Montana?
Honestly, I'm not entirely sure. I had some health issues a while back. Memory problems. When I recovered, I just felt drawn to Montana. Wanted a fresh start, I guess.
Memory problems. That's how Nathan had explained the erasure to Ty. As health issues. As something medical rather than something deliberately done to him. Lou forced herself to keep pushing, to test the boundaries of the erasure.
What kind of memory problems, if you don't mind my asking?
Amnesia, basically. I don't remember much before about 6 months ago. The doctors said it was likely caused by head trauma, but they weren't sure. It's frustrating sometimes, not remembering your own past. But I'm building a new life here. That's what matters.
6 months ago. The timeline suggested Nathan had brought Ty to Silver Creek Ranch about 6 months ago, after years of keeping him somewhere else, after erasing his memory completely.
That must be difficult. Not remembering your family, your history.
I suppose. Though it's hard to miss what you don't remember, you know? For all I know, I didn't have much family. Maybe that's why I ended up here. Nobody looking for me. Nobody wondering where I went.
The words destroyed Lou. Ty thought nobody was looking for him. Thought maybe he'd had no family, no people who loved him. Had no idea that Amy and Lindy had been grieving him for 5 years. That an entire community at Heartland remembered him. That he'd been someone important to so many people. Lou tried a different approach, mentioning something specific from Ty's past to see if it triggered anything.
Have you ever been to Alberta, Canada?
Alberta? Not that I remember. Why do you ask?
You remind me of someone I knew from Alberta. Someone who was very good with horses. Like you.
He smiled, but it was the polite smile you give to a stranger, making odd small talk.
Must be one of those universal horseman types. We probably all look the same after a while, covered in dust, smelling like hay.
He laughed at his own joke, completely missing the devastating irony. Lou was describing him. The person she knew from Alberta was literally him. Lou tried one more probe, more direct this time.
The person I knew, his name was Ty Borden. You look remarkably like him.
For just a moment, Ty paused. Lou's heart leaped. Had something registered? Had the name triggered a buried memory? But then Ty shrugged, returning to his work with the mare.
Ty Borden. Huh. That's a good strong name. But no, I'm Noah Smith. Just plain Noah. Sorry, I'm not who you're looking for.
The hope that had briefly flared died instantly. The name Ty Borden meant nothing to him. He'd heard it as just another random name, with no more significance than any other. Lou felt something breaking inside her. This was it. The confirmation she'd needed, but desperately didn't want. Ty Borden was gone. Whatever Nathan and the council had done to him, it was complete, irreversible. She was talking to a stranger who wore Ty's face, used Ty's body, had Ty's skills with horses, but had none of Ty's memories, none of his identity, none of the person he'd been.
Are you okay? You look upset?
Lou realized tears were forming despite her best efforts to control them. She quickly wiped them away.
I'm fine. Just, the person I knew, the one you remind me of, he died. 5 years ago. It's hard sometimes, seeing someone who looks so much like him.
His expression softened with sympathy.
I'm sorry for your loss. That must be difficult. Was he family?
He was my brother-in-law. He had a wife and daughter who loved him very much.
They must miss him. It's terrible, losing someone like that.
He had no idea. No idea that he was talking about himself, about Amy and Lindy, about his own supposed death. He was expressing sympathy for his own widow and child while having no memory of them. Lou couldn't continue, couldn't keep having this surreal, devastating conversation with someone who looked like Ty but wasn't him. Before she could say anything else, a ranch hand approached the corral. Noah, Hayes wants to see you in the main office. Something about the buyer coming in for that mare. Ty nodded, giving the mare a final pat.
Duty calls, Miss Annette. Parker, it was nice meeting you. Feel free to watch the other trainers if you want to stay. They're all excellent at what they do.
Nice meeting you. As if Lou were any random visitor he'd forget by tomorrow. As if she weren't his sister-in-law who'd been desperate to see him, who'd risked everything to have this conversation.
Thank you for talking with me. And for being so kind.
Of course, hope you find some peace with your loss. Just easier with time, I think. At least that's what people say.
He walked away toward the main office building, leaving Lou standing at the corral fence. She watched him go, watched Amy's husband treat her like a forgettable stranger, watched the man who should know her walk away without a backward glance. Agent Chen's voice came through Lou's earpiece, gentle and concerned. Lou, you need to leave now. You got what you came for. Time to go. Lou walked back to her vehicle on autopilot, her mind numb with shock and grief. She'd known intellectually that Ty's memory was erased, but knowing it and experiencing it were completely different things. She'd just had a conversation with her brother-in-law where he'd expressed sympathy for his own widow, where he'd apologized for looking like himself, where he'd treated his real name as just another random name he'd never heard before. Ty Borden was gone. Not just his memory, but his entire identity, his entire self. Nathan had taken everything that made Ty who he was and erased it, leaving behind only Noah Smith, a stranger who happened to have Ty's face. Lua got in her vehicle and drove away from Silver Creek Ranch, tears streaming down her face. In her earpiece, Agent Chen and Agent Walsh were speaking, telling her she'd done well, that she needed to return to the safe house, that they'd debrief when she got back. But Lou barely heard them. All she could think about was Ty's polite smile, his casual "nice meeting you," the complete absence of recognition in his eyes when she'd mentioned his real name. The man she knew was truly gone, and Lou was going to have to tell Amy that her dead husband was alive but didn't remember her, didn't remember their daughter, didn't remember anything about the life they'd built together. Elk Ridge Safe House. Lou sat at the kitchen table with Agent Walsh and Agent Chen, a cup of coffee in front of her that she hadn't touched. She stared at nothing, her face showing the emotional devastation of what she'd just experienced. Lou, talk to us. How are you doing?
I just spoke to my brother-in-law, Amy's husband, Lindy's father, and he had no idea who I was. No recognition at all. I mentioned his real name and he thought it was just a random name. He expressed sympathy for his own widow.
Her voice was flat, emotionless. The shock was too deep for tears now. I'm so sorry. I know how difficult that must have been.
He thinks he's Noah Smith from Oregon who's only been training horses for a few months. He has amnesia that he thinks was caused by health issues. He has no idea Nathan erased his memory deliberately. No idea he had a whole life before 6 months ago. No idea people are looking for him, grieving him, missing him.
The memory erasure is complete. Whatever the council did to him, they were thorough.
Can it be reversed? If we extract him, get him to specialists, can his memory be restored?
Agent Chen and Agent Walsh exchanged uncomfortable glances. I don't know. Memory restoration after that kind of psychological conditioning, it's not my area of expertise. But Lou, even if it's possible, it would take time. Months, maybe years of therapy and treatment. And there's no guarantee he'd ever fully recover his memories. Lo put her head in her hands. So even if they rescued Ty from the council, even if they brought him back to Heartland, he might never remember being Ty Borden. Might never remember Amy or Lindy or the life he'd had. Amy could get her husband back physically but lose him permanently in every way that mattered.
How do I tell Amy? How do I explain that Ty is alive but doesn't remember her? That he exists somewhere as someone else, someone who doesn't know he ever loved her?
You don't. Not yet. Not until we have a plan to extract him and a treatment protocol in place. Telling Amy now would just cause her pain without offering any hope of resolution.
So I keep lying to my sister, keep hiding the truth. Keep carrying secrets that would destroy her.
You're protecting her. Until we can offer Amy more than just devastating truth, keeping the secret is the kindest thing you can do. Lou knew they were right, but it didn't make the burden any easier to carry. Her phone buzzed. A text from Amy.
Lou, are you okay? You promised to call yesterday and I didn't hear from you. Starting to worry. When are you coming home?
Lou stared at the message. Amy was worried. Was waiting for Lou to keep her promise to return to Hudson. Had no idea Lou had just spoken to her supposedly dead husband who'd treated Lou like a stranger. I'm okay. Just busy wrapping things up. We'll call you tonight. Love you. She sent the message and set the phone down, feeling like the worst sister in the world, lying to Amy, keeping secrets, promising to come home while having no idea when or if she could actually keep that promise. The episode ended on Lou's face, sitting at the safe house kitchen table, staring at nothing. She'd gotten the confirmation she needed. Claire's memory was completely erased. Noah Smith had no idea he was Ty Borden. The man Amy loved was truly gone. And Lou now carried that devastating knowledge with no way to act on it, no way to tell Amy, no way to fix it. Just the crushing weight of knowing her brother-in-law was alive, but lost, that Amy's husband existed but didn't remember her, that Lindy's father was breathing but had no memory of his daughter. Lou had promised Amy she'd come home in a few days. That promise was now 5 days old and Lou was still in Montana, still trapped by the mission, still carrying secrets that grew heavier with each passing day. In Hudson, Amy waited for her sister to return, unaware that Lou had just spoken to Ty, unaware that her dead husband was alive, unaware that the man she'd been grieving for 5 years was working at a ranch in Montana with a different name and no memory of their life together. At Silver Creek Ranch, Ty Borden, Noah Smith, continued his work with the horses, having already forgotten the odd businesswoman who'd asked him about Alberta and mentioned a name that meant nothing to him. He had no idea he'd just spoken to his sister-in-law, no idea people were searching for him, no idea he'd been someone else entirely just years ago. The council's memory erasure was complete. Ty Borden was gone. And Lou Fleming was the only person who knew both truths, that Ty was alive, and that the Ty they knew no longer existed. It was an impossible knowledge to carry, an impossible truth to keep hidden, and an impossible situation to resolve, because even if they extracted Ty from the council, even if they brought him home to Heartland, the man who returned wouldn't remember the people waiting for him. Wouldn't know Amy, or Lindy, or Lou, wouldn't remember any of the life he'd built, and the love he'd shared. Lou had risked everything to have this conversation, had violated FBI protocol to see Ty one more time. And now she understood what she'd been desperately hoping wasn't true. The man she knew was truly gone. Only a stranger wearing his face remained. That concludes today's episode. After tormented nights, Lou decided she had to see Ty again, despite the danger of Nathan being at Silver Creek Ranch. The FBI agents reluctantly agreed without telling headquarters. Lou approached the outer corrals and found Ty working with horses. She spoke to him as Louise Parker, and Ty treated her like a complete stranger with zero recognition. He discussed his life as Noah Smith from Oregon. Said he'd only been training horses a few months, mentioned having amnesia from health issues 6 months ago. Lou desperately probed his mentioned Alberta, asked about his past, even said his real name Ty Borden. Nothing worked, just polite confusion from someone who had no idea he was talking to family. When Lou said Ty reminded her of someone who died, he expressed sympathy for his own widow and child without knowing it was about himself. A ranch hand interrupted. Ty said nice meeting her, and walked away treating Lou like any forgettable visitor. The episode ended with Lou devastated, realizing the memory erasure is complete and total. Ty Borden is truly gone. Only Noah Smith remains. Join us next time to see what Lou does with this devastating confirmation. If this episode broke your heart, please like and subscribe. Until next time, this is Cowboys and Cattle.